First time I heard John Lennon's Instant Karma, I was out shopping with my family. I was 10 years old in 1970, and we were at this Levi's warehouse. And this warehouse, it was this huge, gigantic metal structure. And it must have been this old airplane hangar or a blimp hangar or something because it had all this corrugated metal siding. And it also had this corrugated metal ceiling, and the ceiling seemed to be like 35 or 40 feet tall. I mean, that's how I remember them, just these huge, empty, cavernous space, that was very echoey. So here we are shopping in Levi's warehouse. Me and my family were looking for jeans or something for my older brother, and they were piping in the music from the local radio station. It's all very chill. It's all very 1970. And then all of a sudden I hear boom, boom. And then the drums kick in. And then I hear John's voice. And I go, is that John? This is John Lennon? What is this? Okay, is this a Beatles song? I don't know. But I'm just standing there in the middle of the store and I'm just listening. I'm just hearing this song and it's just, I'm looking up at the ceiling and I'm looking at the speakers and they're all over. And I'm just hearing John's voice kind of bouncing all over this huge cavernous structure, and loving every minute of it, be this new song that I hadn't heard before. And then it goes into that chorus and the whole energy just shifts and it all just changes. And it's a whole thing is just filled with this chorus. And we all shine on, and it's just so ethereal and so uplifting and kind of magical here. That's my memory, of instant karma. And I think that this is how John would have wanted everybody to hear instant karma for the first time, in this big, echoey, cavernous space. It's a very John song, right from its inception to him writing it and recording and putting it out. Very, very John, very, very quick, very, very imaginative. That's John. I'm not a John Lennon expert. I'm not a music on his songwriting or, his music or anything like that, but I am an expert on what I like, and I do like to think of John, in the latter part of 1969 and the beginning part of 1970, having the concept of karma kind of rolling around in his head with all the other concepts and ideas that he has, and him, chit-chatting a bit here and hearing instant coffee and putting that together with karma and coming up with instant karma. And I like to think of that like that light switch just kind of coming on and just boom, it just kind of lights up inside of him and he can't do anything except think about that song and then want to write it and put it out ASAP. It's a little bit like how Paul McCartney came up with Sgt. Pepper, when he mishears salt and pepper. But I actually think I like John's wordplay a little bit better. I'm sorry, please don't hate me, but I do. And so John kind of gets into what I like to call this Pied Piper mode, where John, he's at his best. He's in his zone and he's saying, let's do this. This is what I want to do. And he's rallying the troops around him. Something good is going to happen. Something great is going to happen. Like people know John. They know, oh my God, here we go. And he's actually like a drug and everybody's all hooked into it. Everybody's falling around. Everybody is in that zone now. Everybody's in on it and everybody's part of it. And it all just kind of happens magically, sort of almost like without really trying. And it's all very immediate. It's all very in your face. And it all kind of, like I said, kind of magically happens, just like that chorus of these people from, they didn't even know these people. They're just out gathering people for the chorus. And they all kind of magically sing it all on key. It's just kind of, whoa, how did that happen? And how do those drums happen? We don't know, but it just turned out great. It really did. Very, very John, because John was in his zone. John was at his best in that moment, and he clicked into that. John was trying to capture something. John was trying to capture, this lightning in a bottle. And that's exactly what he did. And that's what we feel. And that's what we sense here when we hear the song Instant Karma, because he's thinking of karma and he's thinking of all that happened to him and people, laughing at a fool like me. He didn't like it. He's trying not to get mad at people. He's trying to do better himself, but he's also still mad at everything and he wants to do better and he wants us to do better, and all of that. That's kind of what I think the song is about. It's got all these different layers to it. And again, it's just a song. It doesn't really have to mean anything. I think that's also John's message in just about any song. Hey, man, it can just be about taking it, whatever I had for breakfast that day, or it can just be about that. It doesn't have to mean anything. But, it definitely meant something to John to get this one out. And I also like to think of this song almost like it's two songs, okay? So like I say, you have that first part of like instant karma where John is almost like talking to us. It's like, John is this guy kind of sneaking up on us, okay? John is like this guy sneaking, like almost like karma itself, like sneaking up on you, kind of like hitting you right in the head, okay? Look out. Okay, and don't laugh at a fool like me. So he's saying if you don't look out, something's going to get you. Okay, and maybe something's going to get me too. I don't want it to get me again, so you look out. So he's got this conversation going on with us. And like I said, he's kind of talking to us in the songs. He's saying, better recognize your brothers, everyone you meet. So he's almost talking the lyrics here. In that first part, it's a little bit angsty. He kind of like shakes us up. He gets our attention, okay, with the drums and the echoey stuff and everything. And then and then he gets into that second part of the song, the big old chorus, okay, where everybody's kind of singing, and it's more uplifting, and John is actually kind of empowering us. Where he's saying we all shine on, like the moon and the stars and the sun, telling us we can absolutely do better. It's kind of like, rise above all this crapola here. All the karma, it's like, just don't even deal with karma. So don't worry about if you're doing good stuff. If you shine on, you don't have to worry about the karma. I also think like John is also kind of talking to himself too. Like we all shine on. This is like John's, it's almost like a fairy tale. Those Grimm's fairy tales where they're kind of dark and scary, like in the beginning, and then they all have this happy ending. I think that's kind of like what's going on here with John's song. Again, I don't think he means that. It's just kind of how it's turning out. Just kind of how it is and what my take is on it. And how it kind of takes us someplace, kind of gets our attention, gets us out of our comfort zone. What is he talking about here? Is there something I need to be afraid of? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, this is good. John is saying, okay, it's good. We're better than this. We are going to be okay. We're lifted up out of whatever this crap is over here. We're up here with the moon and the stars and the sun. It's actually a little bit, it's an anthem, sort of, a little bit like Hey Jude, maybe. But Hey Jude and Let It Be, they are songs where they kind of wrap a blanket around you. A big old warm blanket, give you some, hot milk to drink too. Very sweet, very encouraging, making everybody good, making you say, hey, it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. But and nothing's wrong with that. I love those songs and I cry every time. Very emotional, very touching. But with John's song, what it does is John's song kind of lifts us up and takes us there. It's empowering. It says, it's going to be okay. But John is saying, it's going to be really okay because we have this power inside of us to make everything okay, to make this utopia, basically, that John has in mind, that we can all be these shiny, energetic objects where everything is going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And I also love that part where John, and I can't do it. What is it? Like in the chorus, all of a sudden, John gets really earnest. So John's like the moon and the stars and the sun. So everything of all these little touches, John's voice, John's emotion, just so many layers of John all throughout it. It's the immediacy. So it's like John is like so excited about all of this. It came from just this idea of the karma and the mood and the emotion and his idea and excitement of getting it all together. And here it is, boom, here it is. It's like, it turns into this big old thing at the end, and then it just kind of rains down on everybody, like it was raining down on me, like all this little stardust, and it makes you kind of go, whoa, what was that? Wow, it's instant karma. It is going to be okay. And I think that's a little bit better than a warm blankie, that says everything is going to be okay. And I think that's what I was feeling, in that Levi's warehouse, like 50 some years ago, 55 years ago. At least that's my take on instant karma. I know it's maybe a little far out there, but that's me. And like I said, just very, very John, which I think is the best part of it. Thank you, John. And thank you all for being here with me again. I really appreciate it. And until next time, peace and love one another. Take care. But John's song, what does John do? John's song is like, he's like this. He's looking at you and he's got his teeth gritted. Hey, look out, man. And he's not even really singing. He's almost like talking to you. Instant karma's going to get you, going to knock you off your feet. Better recognize your brothers, everyone you meet. I mean, this is John just talking to us, okay? But he cares, okay? But he's intense about it, okay? That's John. And then what does he do? He goes into like, we all shine on. So it's not na, 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 okay? But he does have that chorus.